25 years after TWA 800, behind the doors of a huge warehouse outside Washington, D.C., the magnitude of the disaster gets very real.
But when you look at that,
Right.
and you realize the power of that explosion, and that there were people sitting right next to those windows.
And the twisting of the metal.
Yeah.
Like this piece up here that's sort of curled back.
The mangled, reconstructed wreckage has, for years now, been a training module and living example of the deadly consequences when things go wrong. But now, it's set to be pulled apart and destroyed.
Being here physically is something different. Do you lose a little bit of that in not physically having this here for the people you're trying to train?
Well, I think that's a possibility. We certainly have thought about that.
Part laboratory, part temple for the more than 200 families who lost people in this hull. They brought mementos to lay on the seats inside where their loved ones were sitting.
We have not been able to allow them to actually walk down through the center of it. It's pretty dangerous. And so either myself or somebody on my team would take those mementos and place them on the seat for the family members.
When you see loved ones that were affected by this, it really hammers home what you're doing and why.
Frank Hildrup is one of the people who put this reconstruction together. He's an investigator at the NTSB. The night the plane blew up, it was his job to figure out why.
Where do you start?
Yeah, it's overwhelming, I will say sometimes.
The 4-year investigation that followed helped propel major changes to aviation safety, victim assistance, and accident investigation.
This is the center wing tank.
Reconstructing Flight 800 was about finding answers, but it also meant dispelling conspiracies.
A bomb, missile, which we knew we had speculation about. That ultimately happened in this case was an ignition of the fuel vapors in this tank.
Even now, there are those who refuse to believe the facts, who think Flight 800 was the casualty of a terror attack or military misfire.
Evidence of a bomb or a missile leaves dramatically different types of evidence on structure. There is absolutely no evidence of any bomb or missile damage in this wreckage.
Because of this investigation, the FAA changed requirements for how fuel tanks are put together, making our planes safer and preventing another Flight 800.
Sometimes we make recommendations that look like they're never going to get there, but that technology was developed and it's on aircraft today.
The physical will be replaced by the digital, a scan that will live on as a training tool.
You can visualize things, and I imagine you'll be able to actually visually get into the tank, where you can't really even now.
But the power of seeing in person this mangled skeleton of a plane can't be replicated.
We're working for those families. We're working to make sure no other families have to go through something like this again.
James Packard, Newsy, Ashburn, Virginia.